What's happening, everybody? It's your boy D Max. So let's go ahead and talk real quick. So, if you're like a lot of people sitting down to a Christmas Eve dinner, and while all the festivities is going on, I just happened to come across a video of some OG rappers, some of my favorite artists. I'm not gonna really name their name because I'm about to go in a little bit, but they were stating how the state of rap right now and why is all of this disrespect and what is it that can be done about it. And the person that they were interviewing said that a lot of these OG rappers need to step up and open their mouth and say something, because a lot of these kids respect them, and a lot of these kids related to those guys coming up. And so they have a certain level of respect for some of these OG artists. Now you have some of these younger artists like Young Thug and 21 Savage and stuff like that who don't have that respect, but that's a whole nother story. But my whole point in saying this is I feel like a lot of the OG rappers respect these young rappers' money too much. And they're afraid to say something to them because they use a lot of these new up and coming artists that come on the scene and be hot. They use them to remain relevant. Um, Drake has been doing it for about the past 10 years or so, using these young hot artists to remain relevant. And so they don't want to punch their ticket. They don't want to jeopardize their relevance and being connected to these young artists. And so they have a tendency to sit back and not say anything to them about the stuff that they know need to be said. They don't want to rock the boat. And so I feel like this is a major reason why a lot of the young artists in hip hop today don't have any guidance, because older rappers are respecting their money. Anytime you have a older man calling you big bro, then there's something wrong with the balance in life. I don't care how much money you making. Money don't make you my big bro. Money don't make you my OG. Money don't make you an authority figure over me in no facet, no way, no how whatsoever. So where these guys are coming up with this concept, well, I kind of get it, because it says that the love of money is the root to all evil. And there's nothing more evil than the balance between man and child being thrown off. There's absolutely no way in this world that I would call somebody younger than me big bro or OG or anything showing that they have any type of authority over me. It just don't rock like that. And we have this type of lack of balance going on. The scales are way off when it comes down to uh, these OGs walking like an OG, because they're not. They're walking timid around these little boys. They act like they're scared to say something to these little boys. They act like they're scared to get up in their face like grown men do. So where along the lines did this take place? When did this happen? I remember back in the days we used to have things like stop the violence movements, where every East Coast rapper will get on a song and they'll all drop a little 4 bars and make a song to stop the violence, to say that we not for that, we pushing against that. If our OG rappers came out and did something like that, and really, really put their money and they force behind it, then we would see some changes. But these guys ain't making no efforts towards anything like that. Why? Because it's going to interfere with their money. If they push against what these kids are doing and the agenda that these labels are influencing these kids to push, they're going to become irrelevant. And that's one thing that these older guys are definitely afraid of. If you want to get an OG rapper to shut up and just chill out, threaten his relevance in the game. That's all you got to do. And them dudes will fall in line. They will fall. I ain't gonna say all of them will, but a majority, enough that would make a difference, falls in line with the threat of money and their relevance being taken. That's the problem with hip hop. That's the biggest issue in hip hop that nobody wants to address. All y'all OGs is scared as hell of these little boys, and you respect their money way more than you respect the game. because the game is to be sold, not told, right? But this is the life that we live in. This is the age that we live in now. Everything is upside down and topsy turvy, and people just think that money is the answer to everything. But there's a couple people out here that I'm pretty sure would beg to differ on that. You look at Russell Simmons. I was just looking at something on Russell Simmons this morning, and they were talking about his past adventures with females and all of the accusations that have come out about Russell Simmons, and how Oprah walked away from the story because there was way too many holes in the story. With money comes a whole lot of things. There's a lot of greed. It'll bring the worst out of anybody, and sometimes it'll bring the best out of anybody. But more than likely it's going to bring the worst out of people, because whatever you are when you was broke, when you get money, you're going to become that times 10. And so you have a lot of these people who have very questionable they have questionable character in the first place, and then you give them the resources to fully fuel their crap, and so they go out and they do that. And you'll have all of these guys around them, their friends, their older family members, even their parents, who will bow down to these children because of the amount of money that they are bringing in and earning. I'm gonna say it like this, and because I have a daughter who plays basketball in college right now. I have a son who plays basketball. I have all types of family members who are successful. And I can guarantee you this on everything that I love and know. I don't care how much money, how much notoriety, how much popularity, how much fame any of my children get. I would never treat them any different, and I would never change. I ain't gonna say I won't change my level of respect, but what I'm saying is that I will never place them in a higher position in my mind and in my eye based on the amount of money they make. So I can have one child that makes millions and another child who works at McDonald's. My love for both of them is still going to be exactly the same. And if they're both operating at their best level, then my pride for both of them are going to be exactly the same. It's not predicated on how much money they're making. It's not predicated on a position or a title, because I don't care about those things myself. Yeah, I went out and I've achieved things. I've accomplished many things in my life, and I have my little accolades and my awards and stuff off in a daggone trunk somewhere. But those things do not define me, and I won't allow them to define me. And I won't allow people to look at me as just those things, because there's so much more to me than just that. And so I would never look at my child as just a basketball player. And this is something that I instill in her all the time. Anytime I talk to my daughter, I'm not going to spend the whole time talking about basketball, because my daughter Gabrielle is an awesome, amazing young lady. And there's so much more to her than basketball. My daughter Tamaria, I'm not just going to talk about cooking and the things that she's good at, because there's so much more to her. That's with all my daughters. Every single one of them has their own gift and their own talents that they operate in, and I'm proud of them for that. But I will never see them as just what their gift is that they're operating in, and I don't want them to see themselves like that as well. And so this is the biggest pet peeve that I got with these hip hop artists out. No, I say the OGs, like the Redmans, the Method Mans, the 50s, the TIs, the Killer Mikes, the Jay-Z's, the Diddy's, all of these guys who are in that $1 billion group, who can really affect some change, and who can really, really bust a lot of these guys out if they want to. They don't care enough about these young men's lives, and they don't care enough about the community to say something to these young men and to really sit them down. The only one that I saw that really had the mind to do so was Master P, and these young guys pushed him away. They said that P was trying to run game on them. But you look at these young dudes. First of all, you're dealing with the kid who has trust issues because 9 times out of 10, his father wasn't never in his life, and the male figures that he had in his life were not good examples of what a man is supposed to be. And so, what these dudes are looking at is a whole bunch of shisty males in their life, and whenever P come through, they automatically gonna say, "Well, what you want? You gotta want something." You're not just here because you care about me and want to see me grow and flourish and do better and become a young black king and put my hood. You don't want that. You got to want something else because every other person in my life has always wanted something. So you got to understand as an OG rapper that you're dealing with a broken child to begin with, who doesn't understand what authority and a father figure in their life is supposed to look like. And so you have to be slow and intentional in building that rapport with that young man. I see that Boosie tried to reach out to NBA YoungBoy. I see that Kevin Gates tried to reach out to NBA YoungBoy. He wasn't having it. This kid is so damaged and so hurt and so broken, man. It's not gonna be an overnight thing where he's just gonna gravitate towards you because you a gangster and all of this and that. No, that young man's been hurt. That young man, all of them songs, all of that anger and rage that's coming out of him is coming from a place of hurt. Y'all gotta understand that. That young man ain't just doing that just because. You can't act that good. That's him. But that anger is real. That hurt and that pain is real. That's why he covering his face now and painting his face, and he want to blame it on being a rock star. But no, that's the easiest way to cover up your shame. And so nobody's really looking at that. You rather have these guys go out here and talk about him and ridicule him instead of look, young homie, I don't want nothing from you. I don't want no clout. I don't want none of that. Just bam. And just drop something on his inbox. You know what I'm saying? Do it in a way that he know you not trying to get nothing off of him. Because initially, yeah, he's gonna think that. But if you keep dropping stuff on him behind the scenes and not putting it out there for everybody to see, then that kid gonna be like, well, hold up. If this nigga was wanting clout, then he would have put this on the clubhouse. If this nigga wanted clout, he would have put this on Instagram or Twitter. You know what I'm saying? But this nigga just keep hitting me on the low and dropping knowledge to me. And at some point, you gonna break through on that young man. You gonna build a rapport with him, and he gonna ask you a question. And once he open up enough to trust you enough to ask you a question, there's the start of you building that rapport with that dude. But these dudes be coming at him all wrong, man. And you have to understand, you don't know what type of damage and what type of hurt that kid been through so that he won't trust no male authority figures. So you got to figure out that way to come at him so that you can build that rapport with him. But it's not just young boy; it's a whole bunch of them. You see, Dirk got his daddy back in his life. How that dude his whole persona, mannerism, everything done changed, man. I ain't never seen that dude look like that. He looked like a little kid. He looked like he reverted all the way back to 7 or 8 years old. My daddy is here. I got my dad in my life. Look at Drake. Old as Drake is. You know, parents do things, they do wrong things, they make mistakes. But he understood that in order for me to be a whole man, I'm going to have to resolve this with my dad. Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, I got to get some closure in this thing and I got to address that in my life because that's a whole portion of my life that is missing. Drake understood that. And a lot of these other rappers, another one, Offset. Offset, man, it was one of the saddest stories that I heard, man. That dude said he would see his dad and be like, yeah, that's my dad right there. You know what I'm saying? And to this day, man, now that this dude has become who he's become, he could have said, "Oh man, fuck that nigga. He ain't do shit for me. I ain't doing nothing for him." But that's not the mindset he took because he understood the importance of it's more than just about me now. Now I got a seed. And my seed got to know where they came from. So if I don't know where I came from, how can I tell my seed where they came from? You know what I'm saying? Mom got her whole culture and her whole lineage down. But me, I'm over here lacking because I'm mad at my father and I don't want to get that info. So he understood that. I commend that man for growing up and becoming a man and seeing the bigger picture of what was most important. And a lot of you OG rappers, especially you, like the Offsets and the Migos, all of y'all, Wayne, all of y'all that got the youth right now, because you know Jay-Z and T.I. and them, all of them cats is from my generation. But you got the Waynes, you got the Kevin Gateses, you got the Boosies, you got all of these cats that this next generation, these Generation Z, are looking up to as their OGs, and them dudes ain't saying nothing to them dudes. They ain't saying nothing to them young cats, man, because they want to stay relevant. They're trying to remain relevant. They don't want to let go of that fame. And in order to do so, they can't step on no toes by telling these young boys what to do. So we need some OGs who said, I don't care nothing about your album sales. I don't give a damn nothing about how many platinum plaques you got. I don't care how much ice you got on. I don't care what's in your bank account, because you can't take none of that with you when you go up out of here. We need those strong OGs like that. We need those Dick Gregory type of OGs. We ain't got none. But no, I'm sorry. I take that back. We got Killer Mike. We got Killer Mike. That's about it. You know, when you say something to these kids, you need to expect them to say something back, and don't just stop just because they insult you one time. That's just a defense mechanism because they not used to nobody caring about them. So you're going to have to push past that defense mechanism so that you can get to that kid. And if you say, well, D Mac, who are you to be telling somebody what to do? I've worked with children as a daggone youth mentor for years. And so I've been through the cognitive behavioral therapy modules, and I've dealt with therapists, licensed therapists, dealing with young teenage boys from the age of the 13 all the way up to 18. So when I talk about this stuff, best believe I know what I'm talking about, and I've used it and I've seen the effectiveness of it. So you can't tell me that it don't work. It'll work with anybody if you really care and you really stop and put your mess down and really truly invest some time in trying to make this work. You know what I'm saying? I love each and every person. I love them, you know, with the love of God, but I hate the spirit that they operate in. I say this all the time. I love the people. I just hate the spirit that they allow to influence them to do the stuff that they do, because those same spirits influence me to do the stuff that I indulge in. No, so I know the struggle whenever you really don't want to do something and you know the consequences of it, but you've been doing it for so long that it's just second nature to you. And so if you do go out and try something new and it don't work, you're automatically gonna revert back to what you already know. I know, fellas. I've been there, done that, got the t-shirt, hat, and everything. But you gotta push past that, man, because them kids don't see no hope, man. And it's going to take more than one talk with them to see any hope. It's going to take you getting cussed out by them a few times for you to start seeing any hope. Because when these kids cuss you out and you still keep coming back, they're gonna say, man, why this nigga is bothering me? Why this dude cares so much? And they eventually gonna ask you, nigga, why you care? There you go. That's your end right there. Why shouldn't I care, young brother? Why don't you care? You know what I'm saying? It's simple as that. They gonna give you an end because these kids is really, really wanting somebody to reach out to them and to do that. They really want somebody to fight for them. There's nothing more strong and nothing more powerful than a child who has somebody backing them and they know that somebody got their back. That's the future right there. But when you got a child out here just running freelance and he don't have no guidance and he don't have nobody having his back and you hear him say it all the time, Ain't nobody here for me. I gotta look out for me. You know what I'm saying? But when you got a child and somebody got their back, they always go on the great things. May not be the greatest things that you would think, but they still go on the great things. And so when you start letting these rappers know, as an OG rapper who been in the game for decades and been through all of that stuff, and you just keep on bugging them, and you keep on putting that daggone bug in their ear, and you keep on dropping them nuggets of wisdom on them, man. At some point they're gonna be like, man, OG, all right, man, this dude ain't asked me for nothing. This dude ain't never tried to grandstand or get no clout off of me. This dude just care about me and he want to see my life change. That's when you're going to see a lot of these rappers changing their narrative. That's when you're going to see a lot of the children who are fans of these rappers changing that narrative as well. But until our OGs stand up and say something, then we're going to continue to go this route, because the labels are not interested in these young men becoming pillars of the community. That's not their desire. That's not the label's agenda. The label is going to fuel everything that's going to continue to make them money, everything that's going to generate money. And 9 times out of 10, it's something toxic that's going to generate that money. And so they're not looking out for those kids. Lyor Cohen is not looking out for them young boys. He could care less. Every single one of them that dies makes Lyor Cohen more money, and they're worth more to him dead than they are alive, because the family don't know how much royalties and all of those different types of monetary payments they should be getting. And so they can give the family whatever and say, oh, that's all he had coming to him. And then they're steady making money off the masters. They're making money off of old songs that were never put out, all types of things. And so they don't have to pay an artist, and so they're making money hand over fist. We have to look at these things, man. There's a system and there's a reason behind all of this murder in our young teens right now. Because, you know, well, no, I ain't even gonna say that. I ain't even gonna say that. I'm not gonna speculate. I just said my piece. I done finished my little rant. Hey, what's going on, Reverend Tony, man? I'm so sick of these. I'm so sick of these OG rappers who making excuses for not going hard at these young artists, because they can. Like I was saying, Master P was trying to help out Kodak Black. Now, if Kodak would have listened to P, he probably wouldn't have been in that position that he was in prison. Probably still would have been. Who knows? But the fact that P reached out to the young man, you know what I'm saying? That's what matters. And keep on reaching out. Don't just stop just because they stonewall you that first time around. You got to keep on. You got to keep on taking that rejection. You can't be scared of it in order to break through to that young man. Ain't gonna be no one time thing, man. I remember I was mentoring this young guy, man. Shout out to my boy Lil Northside, man. Um, kid, hood kid. He was just like NBA YoungBoy. He was just like every rapper you could think of who came out of gang violence. And you know, the kid, he's a good kid, man, trying to do the right thing, but those streets had him. And you know, when I first started talking to him, you know, there was that pushback. Like, what did this dude want? You know what I'm saying? Why is this grown man taking an interest in me? You know, first thing they think is pedophile. Well, this dude weird. He trying to touch on me or something like that. But then as they see you more and more, man, and you just show them your spirit is going to speak for itself, and they going to bear witness to your spirit. And they going to know if you real or not. When they say real, recognize real, it ain't just a street thing. If you real in Christ, they gonna recognize that realness. If you real in mentoring and in community outreach, they're gonna recognize that real. So when they say real, recognize real, that's just not in the streets and gangster shit. All right. So just be real with these young men, OG rappers, Yeah, all of y'all ones that's been in there for all them dang on years and you reap the benefits and now you're scared to let go of that limelight and you scared that these kids are not gonna keep you relevant. Is that more important than the longevity of our people? So you're more concerned about the longevity of your career than the longevity of the community. Okay, got it. Bet. This is your boy D Mac. Y'all know what I say, man. Sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always heal you. I'm out, man.